I'm joined in this episode by Bernhard Friedrichs, founder of Partner Standard, a partnerships advisory firm that helps companies build and grow successful business partnerships. His work spans across the entire partner ecosystem, including channel, product, service, and marketing partnerships. In this episode, Bernhard shares his expert insights on when to make your first partnerships hire, the strategies to set them up for success, and common pitfalls to avoid. It's packed with practical advice, so enjoy. Bernhard, this is going to be a hiring masterclass. No pressure. So look, from your experience, what are the common mistakes that founders make when they're hiring in partnerships for the first time?
Well, I think when hiring the first time, it's like a very specific case because, it means you haven't had probably any experience with hiring.
Yeah.
And the company growth stage is at a certain level, like let's say Series A, Series B is very often where I can see that. What you have there, I think what you need to do is definitely make some thinking if you are hiring for executive level or partner manager level. So what you are looking there. I think there are kind of different mistakes that you can do. Straight in. You hire, and then I think it's like the first one is the most common one. It's like you hire the wrong candidate for a partner category that you don't need at that stage.
Yeah.
So let me tell you, like partner categories, like partnerships, it's not just channel partners. Partnerships can be product partners, can be marketing partners, can be service partners, and can be channel partners. And if you don't have it figured out what kind of partnership category or type fits into your business that your business requires right now, you can run the risk of hiring just the wrong candidate, because there might be people that say, I have like 10 years experience in building these partnerships. Yeah. And then it's kind of affiliate partnerships, but you need a product partner. And so that is actually really a very common mistake, because partnerships is not just always the same thing. It's like you have this differentiation.
Yeah.
Another thing is what can also happen if you don't have a partnership strategy in place, that you hire an executive that actually has experience in that specific kind of partnership level, and then because the executive might be a bit biased, you will end up having a partner strategy where this executive has amazing knowledge. So the thing is you won't basically because it's the only thing that an executive then know, and then probably you don't have like a strategy where you can say okay, has been done analysis and we figure out which of the business functions we actually want to support. And actually, at this stage, we need product partners because we are still early on. We need to find our product market fit. We need to still working on our go-to-market fit. It's not yet the time to go for channel partners. So have an executive that you give the task to go for a strategy that needs to be actually somebody that has experience in a broad manner.
So if you hire, sorry to interrupt, but you're saying then strategy should always be in before the hire.
Yes, okay. You should. Definitely. You should also make sure. I mean, you go another level up. The leadership team should have a certain knowledge of partnerships, and then know which kind of executive is required. And you should have laid out the basics of your strategy, because based on this, you hire targeted. Otherwise, you have like a lot of candidates that tell like a lot of background information, but you cannot filter actually if that one is relevant for the strategy that you are going to. And there's not always, it's not like sales. It's not like you exchange a product against money. Like there's no transaction. It's collaborative and it's more complexity.
Okay, makes sense.
And another part is hire a partner manager before you have the strategy. That is one part. That is basically if neither your leadership team nor an executive is available there to put the strategy, and then you say okay, I'm hiring a partner manager without a strategy, and let's see how that figures out. That is also not really working, because you need a strategy in place before.
But that's what I hear when I speak to founders. They'll say, well, when I kind of ask them about the strategy, they'll say, well, that's why I'm hiring a partner manager.
Yeah, and that is actually one of the most common things why I have a job. It's like is happening is so you need a lot of knowledge to build it up, and partner managers get specialized in specific areas. And very often I see when you see they are like build a partnership strategy or initiative from scratch, or you go into a partnership organization and look at how I can optimize that. And very often when I see that in businesses happens is the leader or like the executive team hired a partner manager without really knowing it so much, and say like, okay, this person is going to figure that out. And then it goes like 6 months, 9 months, 12 months into the year, and then basically there is not really a clear decision or focus for a specific category. Also not really support. The partner manager is working really hard, starts getting frustrated, leadership starts getting frustrated, investors start getting frustrated, because the partner manager tries some stuff with the knowledge that is there, but there is and the strategy needs to come from the leadership team or the executive there. And so basically it's basically not working to say like, I hire someone and this person is just figuring it out. That is really the most common issue that I see. And that takes then 1 year, sometimes longer, because somebody needs to agree that there was a mistake in either in hiring or in supporting a really good partner manager that's actually would perform excellent if there would be a clear strategy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Becomes a blame culture then. The partner manager blames the company when it doesn't work out, and the company blames the partner manager for not performing.
Yes, and I mean also the partner manager may have like really good experience and had like also really good background and was running a program really well, and then it goes like blaming one or the being frustrated. Like it's very often that the partner manager is just frustrated because they say, okay, nobody understands me in the leadership team. I'm start to receive KPIs that don't make sense for partnerships but for sales, or the strategy is not clear, and you need some guidance and need some help. And partnerships is nothing that you can leave alone, like as a leadership. That's a leadership task, like, because it's complex, it goes into many departments, and you need always, and it doesn't matter like how long you are in partnership, you need always absolute leadership support for partnerships to get it running.
So like when a partner manager is interviewing, it sounds like a lot of these issues probably stem from the environment not being right and the strategy not being defined. But should a good partner manager be actually taking a role that doesn't have a strategy in place? Is it solely on the employer to define that, or should a partner manager do a better job at qualifying the opportunity when they're interviewing?
I think that so if you do, like, if you see the profile, so it makes sense, of course, you as a candidate, because you spend your time on it, to make sure if that business or the company where you're going to spend your time and spend lifetime with is actually qualified for you. So actually a partner manager should also have a look and have an understanding what is let's say the partnership readiness of that business. So to figure out assess the company and have an understanding if that businesses actually have some skills in partnerships, or is the leadership on board, and basically make sure that if they have a strategy where they work with, and then see you as a partner manager, okay, actually they are looking for product partnerships. I've been working in product partnerships, that is great. Or no, I've been actually working in channel partnerships for the last 5 years. So kind of product partnerships not really my focus. And I think a partner manager can do that, and it's really in the own interest of a partner manager to figure that out and have a clear, and asking questions to pre-qualify also the employer as a candidate where you spend your time. So
okay.
And I think there's one thing that comes in that one in that context is a good indication of understanding if a company understands partnerships is ask, as a partner manager or an executive to be hired, ask, where do I have to report to?
Yeah.
Because that is very often happening. It's like if a partnership executive reports into the CRO or CSO instead of the CEO, it's a good indication that something is not yet completely clear there, because then it's been seen like probably partnerships is kind of the ugly cousin of sales, and it's basically just focusing on. I mean, it's fine if it's channel partnerships, has something to do with sales, yes, but it's a strategic level, and you need to make sure that in partnerships that you have a direct CEO and a strategic connection, and that you are not just measured with sales KPIs.
Okay. What if it's a CRO that's driving it? So what if a CRO has kind of built their sales organization and they say, right, now we want to start looking at partnerships as a revenue stream, and they decide to go to market? What do you suggest in that instance?
I mean, you have to definitely, I mean, you have to work hand in hand, and you have to collaborate. Of course, if the CRO pushes it, and I mean, it's nothing against CROs, like they're and it's more and more CROs having more experience with collaborative relationships, but it's often rare that usually when you end up in that position, you're usually having a big experience and background with transactional relationships. You have been really good in sales and marketing and revenue driven, and that is your background. And as a CRO, you have to just realize that is the thing that you are good at. You're not writing code.
Yeah. And transactional is not a bad thing, you know. It's not.
No, it's like where the money flows as well. So it's like kind of the it's one of the channels. It's like the direct channel, and channel partners are the indirect channel. It's in one part. It's just like if you push it, it's great if that initiative comes from, but it's just very important to understand how do you position then. Like, do you give partnerships the freedom to flourish in your business, and that actually has also like some reasons here. It's like the background of a CRO. Another thing is, as a CRO, by now, when you see the figures, the average tenure in a company of a CRO is 18 to 22 months at the moment.
Yeah.
That is pretty short term for a partnership initiative. Like partnerships, you build long initiatives. You don't make a transaction. I said, like, it's not like sales. You bring something over the finishing line by signing a contract, and you basically build a collaboration that is based long term. So if you have a CRO in place, and then after 20 months you hire a new CRO that has different experience, and it's basically not making so much sense if you're not reporting to the CEO in partnerships, because there's too much changes in it, and you don't have the stability. And even if it's channel partnerships and the CRO and you collaborate, and that is like, I mean, it absolutely makes sense to collaborate. There's nothing like a channel conflict neither. Like channel conflict is outside of your business. Like channel partners, like for selling your product. That's the idea of channel conflict. But inside you shouldn't have that. You should have clarified how that works. But there's another thing, like why you should more being like on another level of reporting is your partners are not your clients. Your partners are your partners. Mm-hmm. If you are if your partners would be your clients, you would be a supplier, and that is a completely different dynamic that is working. And for this, all the systems are in place in sales departments. But in partnerships, it's different. Your partner is your partner, and that gives you another set of rights and another set of how to work with them. And so that also the culture fit is a little bit different.
Interesting. Okay. So let's pretend I'm a founder and I am looking to hire a partnership manager I want them to have experience in building a program from scratch. What are the strategies I should be looking at now to ensure that my environment is right for them to come in, and that I'm getting the right person rather than someone that just has 5, 6, 7 years or whatever of partnership management experience?
So to start that, I mean, the first thing is like figuring out where you are, like make a self-assessment.
How do we do that?
Well, first of all, the easy stuff that is pretty much available, look into your past. Have I ever created a partnership initiative? Have I been working in partnerships? Which kind of partnerships were they? And then basically figuring out, do I have among my leadership team people that have experience and background in partnerships? That's rare still.
Yeah.
It exists, but it's not so much, because usually it's still, there has been some kind of partnerships, but not so formalized and not. And so But that's the first thing you can do. Like you look into, has anybody experienced in partnerships who can take the lead on this, and is this experience relevant? And then basically from there go for it. If you don't have, there are different options. You can ask experts. You can level up your skills depending how much time you have as a founder, for example. So you can basically get into some knowledge hubs or books, or like figuring out, like understand. And I can recommend some books that are really like helping to put that in right perspective. And then basically, level up your skills yourself to have an understanding. Ask experts to do that. And then what you should, put away is like this, what is the most common thing? I think we said that in the beginning, is like, in a way, it's like, don't hire cheap. Like, don't hire, like saying, I'm going to get like someone and let that person figure it out. You have done anything with partnerships in your past? Okay, yeah, you do that. So no, like take it serious, because it will be more complex, and it will be more, you have to have a good strategy in place. So don't buy cheap, don't hire cheap. Make sure you do it right from the beginning, because the mistakes you do in the beginning, they escalate later. And then it gets really expensive.
Okay.
The other thing is like, I'm a little bit biased here as well. It's like, hire an expert. Hire somebody that makes an assessment for you first and tells you if your business is ready, if you have basically reached a certain product market fit, go to market fit, partner to market fit, if your company has a general partnership readiness. And then figuring out at that stage where you are, what is the best partnership category that you go for? Like, depending on the goals, the objectives you have, should you go with product partnerships? Should you go with channel, with marketing, or service partnerships? And that is what you can do. It's like you can hire experts to go into that. And that is from the strategy level, but also from the recruiting level. So I said, like, you can also look into companies that are really focused on recruiting for partnerships, because it's a completely different thing than hiring for sales. So you need to ask completely different questions when hiring a partner manager, and you look into different aspects and behavior when hiring a partner manager compared to a sales.
Okay. So just one thing on that. I mean, it comes back to the strategy before the hire, but how in depth should a strategy be? Are we talking, a roadmap for 12 to 24 months, or what does that look like? What should a founder expect to have to invest?
So really a lot of this is also general business, in the sense to say, like, where I am with my business right now, like in which growth phase I am, and then identify, okay, which kind of partnership category I should go for, and focus for that one. You don't need to lay out for the next 3 to 4 years how you escalate and hang from one partner category to the other one. Like, you just need to see, like, in the stage in which you are today, what is the best partnership category and partner type you should go for. And so then you start with this. Out of this, you build on then the experience. And another thing is, like, look internally, make sure that you are very clear with that, so that you can support the initiative, so that you have the budget allocated for that, and that you also say, like, okay, I'm decided for the partnership strategy, and we're going to push that forward, and we have a partnership professional that is executing the strategy. And so basically, it is really, it's an assessment that you have to do, that is rather taking, depending in the stage you are, but it's something you can do in a workshop, that you can do that in a consulting throughout a month, for example, or you can make that also in a shorter version. So there are different options to do that. It depends a little bit on how complex and what product you have in each market.
Okay. So like, to simplify that, it's really strategy followed by category, hiring someone that knows that category, doubling down on that, and then grow from there.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, exactly. And then scale it. So then after this, then you go into that one. So really first start with one focus, one go-to market as well, or one, as you do it in a company, you do with one go-to market, you focus on that one. And with partnerships, you go with one partner category, and then you build that out, because what you build on infrastructure and resources, in the systems of like reporting, the materials. Parts of it you can use for other partner categories. Not all, because they are different, but you will learn a lot of this. And then you also figure out how your partnerships department interacts with the other departments in your company. Because it's not just like that you need an expert in that partnerships department, you also need to create expertise on day-to-day interaction with your partnership department. It's like the rest of the company is kind of, you need to know how to handle this, like when the request comes from there, or what do they mean, or what actually does partnerships for us here in finance, or for us here as an engineering team. How do they help us? So this needs to grow a little bit.
Yeah, fair enough. One more question on that. It's around KPIs. So I think often when hiring for the first time, founders don't know where to start in terms of targets and KPIs in year one. But should that be part of the strategy, or does someone coming in kind of co-design that with their leadership team?
So you have your overall business goals, and these are there, and then you have partnerships, KPIs that contribute to achieving those overall business goals, and they should be connected, because if not, then partnership is doing something, we don't know what they are doing, and we don't know what's the contribution to the overall business goals. But from there on, you need also to really differentiate with what goal is that. Like I prefer to speak about impact, because if you only look into the revenue figure, you can get that from channel partners indirectly, but the KPI of a partner manager is not like creating revenue, because a partner manager never ever signs one contract with a direct customer. That is the moment when you create revenue, when the transaction happens. A partner manager qualifies the partner, onboards the partner, enables the partner, and let the partner grow, and make sure that the partner and their sales team is set up to sign the contracts. So basically, a KPI is like, how well do I enable, onboard, qualify my partners? By doing this day to day, that is a KPI that you do, and that is something that you can basically have effect on. Like, you don't have like an effect on the indirect. You have that, but it's not. You're not going to go out as a partner manager and sign contracts.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the impact you're referring to. Now, you mentioned this earlier, the difference between hiring partnerships and hiring and sales. From your experience, what are the skills and attributes, kind of looking for soft skills as well here, that make a successful partner manager?
It's a while back. I looked into some books, you also look into kind of what are the differences, and looking. And I found a book actually. There's one is from like the sales acceleration formula from Mark Roberger, and he kind of has gives some advices for sales hiring, which I found really interesting, the approach that he does. And I think he said, like, for sales, definitely you need to go into coachability, curiosity, intelligent, and work ethic. Was it so when you hire for sales? And I was like, okay, but since that is transactional relationships, so what would that mean actually for partnerships? And I think in partnerships is a different set of skills that you need, because again, it's collaborative relationships. It's not transactional relationships. There is like, you sign and you keep going. You don't sign and transaction happens. It's a different way of relation you have with you. And so I think for partner managers, you need like relationship building skills over long term, building trust and trusting as well, not being naive, of course, having experience to have an idea, empathy and emotional intelligence to understand where I'm to understand that person, because you're not working towards one single point and after this you go. You work basically to keep walking in the same direction for a longer time. That is a partnership, basically. You have to have long-term vision. You have to be motivated on more like strategic success. It's not like a success is not like signing a partnership. That's not a success. That is like getting a partnership running is a success. So you have to have a collaborative mindset. You have to have negotiation skills. Definitely, you still have to negotiate about stuff. And I think when I look at it, when I speak with partnership professionals, very often they say like, I'm in partnerships because I didn't want to be in sales, because they wanted to do some other stuff in it. So it's like, it's not about like, you have a standardized funnel and work in that and do that really, really great and excel in like bringing deals over the finishing line. You really like tweak the funnel and really be good in the pitch. And in partnerships, it's you have to have a little bit a broader knowledge about stuff. You have to have technical skills, especially if it's product partnerships. You should definitely know what is written in the contract, and you need to understand the clauses, because it may happen that you have to change something there, and you cannot give that to a legal team, because maybe it's the first time you do that. If you do like some kind of business development, very often you build stuff from scratch. So and that's probably also the last point, is that kind of you have adaptability, because you are literally the person that creates change to build new partnerships and create new ways how your business model is going to work. So it's not like trying to build one funnel, one sales go to market, and build that through. In partnerships, you create new stuff. As soon as standardized, great, but your task is build new partnerships. But I hope like the soft skills came through that.
Yeah. I mean, I still think other things in the sort of sales aspect apply around intelligence and curiosity. But I think even when you talk about like actually understanding a legal document and changing it, that's a very specific skill set that often people that are high on relationship building might not necessarily be strong in getting into that level of detail as well.
Yeah, and I mean, it's great as soon as you can standardize. But let's say you are working in OEM partnerships. Very often that means like you implement parts of your product into another product. And then you need a very customized contract for that, because it's the first time that product goes into that product. And then basically there's one business model and another business model of your partner and yours, and you need to integrate them. And that means like you need to know what you are talking about. Of course, you can have like a legal department that looks from a legal aspect into it, but the clauses and what they mean and how that works from a business perspective, this contract, you should know that, especially for like OEM or white label partnerships. And I'm not saying like all the skills, like the soft skills that you have in sales, like where Mark Roberger, like he points out curiosity, coachability, intelligence, work ethic. That is something he looks specifically for, because it makes sense to have a special eye on that one. So, but it doesn't mean like that they are not relevant in partnerships. Of course, they are also important skills, but in partnerships you need to have an extra focus on long-term vision, on strategic thinking, on relationship building. And like you have to, it's great if they have all, but you have like some peaks and some to make sure that this person is not lacking that skill.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I might sort of end things with the topic of partnership consulting and, sort of fractional partnerships. I'm speaking to more these days that are going out on their own and carving a kind of niche within a specific industry. Like, how should a company evaluate whether they're ready to go with FTE route or whether they should actually start with a consultant? And you could even think of maybe opening up different geographies. So maybe if I'm a UKI headquartered company and I want to start selling into Southern Europe, and do I do it out of here? Am I better off going down a fractional partnership route? But have you any views on this?
So I think in general, if you hire, as we said in the really beginning, like first understand your strategy, make an assessment about your own partnership readiness. And so first step is like understand, you have knowledge about it? Are you clear with that? Do you have already created partnerships? Have you run a business with partnerships and scaled it? And is the category actually that you're working with, are you sure that's suitable for the business that you're running right now? So is there a strategy in place? Do you have, is your business basically partner ready? And that is like the first thing you look into. in case you've never done this and you say like I have no to little knowledge about this case, then and also maybe in the stage like funding, you have like some budget restraints. You have no budget. Let's say you have no budget restraints and you are ready to take a good risk and you have no knowledge, then just go hire a full-time employee and work it out. It can be working well. So if you have like, so it can be okay, but there's a risk in it because, and I see that very often that it happens that you have that risk that the person was just doing other types of partnerships and that's not working for your business. So if you know perfectly what are you doing, have a clear strategy, then do the same. Like, so just you can hire in this way directly if you are very clear, but it's very rare that is actually happen from this perspective.
Okay.
And then if you have doubts and you're not really clear what kind of strategy, or you are in the beginning, and that is actually the point where most companies start with, what partnerships they're working with, and you have maybe even some budget restraints and you cannot afford to take too much risk in this, and not spending too much time as well, then I suggest like go with an expert where you first do an assessment and also make sure that you know the shot you are taking is going into the right direction. So that is actually at the end, because that, what happens very often is that you hire some person. That person has a specific knowledge, goes into a year, and then there's 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, and it's not working. And then besides money, you also lose a lot of time. And so basically, it's much easier to make then a consultation 4 months or 3 or 6 months, and that person basically helps you to hire also the right person. So it is less risky, and at the end, it's cheaper as well. And like you don't have a full employment contract with a fractional.
Yeah. And should that person also be able to kind of introduce you to potential partner profiles to help in your assessment? Is that an expectation?
I mean, the profile, it will figure during the strategy. That is part of it, like understanding which kind of partnership profile is actually, or partner manager profile or partner executive profile is needed. So yes, there should be definitely a clear like help in this and saying like, look, we are looking for candidates that have this specific soft skills and work for that strategy, or have like a broader understanding, so can execute different kind of partner categories. And definitely, yes, there should be help in creating the profile, and then looking into recruitment companies as well that are specialized for partnerships, because it's a different thing hiring a partnership professional than hiring a sales professional or hiring an engineer. Like if you just look into engineering, it's this like you have different recruiters specialized for different kind of positions. And just like what I really want to make sure is like very important is like if you hire for partnerships, you don't hire for sales. It's not the same thing.
If there's one thing to take away, that's it.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, look, that was great, Bernhard. Where can people find you?
On my LinkedIn, if you want, like follow me on LinkedIn. Maybe there's a chance to put a link somewhere.
I'll do that.
I have a website called partnerstandard.com, where you find a lot of there's a knowledge hub with a lot of free guides and free templates to if you want to look into this. There's also like a actually list of books that I would say have a look into it if you are founder early in your career there, where you can look at that are really good. One hot take, like I mean, there's one thing is Nearbound price of the Who economy, and there's
Jared Fuller's book
that grows. And there's Making Channel Sales Work, which I can really recommend. I don't have any affiliates with them, but it's like one of the books that I was reading, because it gives you
written by Marcus Cauchi, who I've worked with before.
Davies.
And I think so. I think they wrote it together, Dave and Marcus. Lots of people have recommended that one. What's so good about it?
Well, there are some key parts in it where is like, I think one of the most important things is like your partners don't partner with you because of your goals. Like in the way is like your partners partner with you because they want to achieve their goals.
Yeah.
So, and there's one thing that helps you really a lot. So first, the differentiation, like your partner is not your customer in a way. I think this idea came with it from there. And also, like, you have to understand that your partners have their own goals. And if you have your KPIs, these are not your partner's KPIs. You need to understand your partner's business model. And I think it's said it's made for channel, but I think it actually works for every category of partnerships. And I think this basic understanding, what is your positioning between you and your partner, and what is the dynamics? I think I took really a lot out of this book one. And another thing is, like, I think that's the first book I ever found was Building Successful Partner Channels from Hans-Peter Bech, which is also channel. That was really like kind of, it also gives you like a structured way to think into that one. So that's just like some books that I started to look in, and I think it helps people going through that. While the other first two also give like a big picture and the recent development of partnerships in general. So I think that makes sense. So
we'll add those books at the end as well.
And other than that, like, look on partnerstandard.com. There's like a lot of, and I keep updating this, a lot of free guides about partner value proposition, partnership categories, or partner categories, a lot about differentiation between transactional and collaborative relationship, which I think is like super important that people understand that. If you follow me on LinkedIn, there's I post or regularly. Also we have like a newsletter there, so you can follow there. That's
nice.
That's how you can find me. Or reach out, book a call. Yeah.
Perfect, Bernhard. Thanks so much for that. Appreciate you making the effort to chat.
Thank you. Thank you, James. Thank you for having me. And see you next time.
See you next time. Take care.
Bye-bye.